Hey guys, Matt and Scott here from the Old 77. Just wanted to take a moment and say, have you heard about Anchor yet?
It's a great way to do a podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, Anchor's got all of this stuff for you. You get analytics. We're online, everywhere. Apple, Google, and they did all of that for us. We didn't have to submit anything.
Nope. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Right, so no computer, no problem.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
All right, here's your f***ing warning. Foul language may occur due to the subject matter. Get ready. This is the Old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world. All right, here we go. Hi there.
What's up, everyone? This is the Old 77. It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
And I'm a little lethargic today, Scott.
Oh, me too, man. So we were out last night with a couple buddies, and we went to a restaurant. We went to Big Whiskey's.
Big Whiskey and JC.
And we rated it last night, too, and we have that later on in the show. We'll talk about that in our local segment.
And it was a fun night.
Yeah, it was a good night. Afterwards, we went over to Patty Malone's, sat on the deck, had a few.
Yeah.
Friend after friend after friend kept showing up.
Well, I'm glad I left when I did, because apparently the party escalated after I left.
It really, you guys left, and it really went up a notch. Yeah.
Like a whole crew came over.
Oh, yeah, like there was a whole group of people that we knew came over.
The spontaneous party begins.
Yes, I heard the Legion of Skanks was out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see one, but I saw their leader and talked to her for a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
You did make the theme song for the Legion of Skanks.
So if you can remember back in the day, it was the Legion of Doom's theme song, the Legion of Doom, type thing. And I used that and just redid it with the Legion of Skanks.
That's brilliant. And they like it.
Yeah, it was a joke, and they legit like it. That's what I think's funny.
It's kind of like a sorority.
Yeah. Hey, good for them, man. Good for them.
The Legion of Skanks.
I just love the title, the Legion. It's not negative in any way. I don't think.
I think when a girl from that group gets married,
do they do a goodbye, like you're dead to us from the Legion?
It's a send off from the Legion.
They get a cookie that just says you're dead to us.
Bye, bitch.
Right.
Adioski. You're a taken woman now.
You're no longer on fleek. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can you put that on a cookie?
No more going out on Friday nights and Saturday nights.
Why not? I mean...
Without your husband, anyway.
Well, I mean, if your husband's down, why not? No, man, we were out. We shut Patty's down. We were out till like 1, sitting on the back deck.
It's a good time back there.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And it was a great night. I mean, it was beautiful out last night.
Yeah, it was so nice. It was cool. It wasn't really hot. There was a nice breeze.
Were there any other people there besides...
There was quite a few people. They were having karaoke.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that'll get people out there.
Oh my God, there was so many people singing horrible karaoke.
Okay, now let's get to the. We were talking about this before we started here.
Yeah, we were.
One of the guys that were in the group that were hanging out with you, he was singing like Disney songs.
Yeah, he was trying to. Like he was wanting to sing Frozen, Let It Go.
Let It Go.
Yeah, there was one from Aladdin, A Whole New World. Dude, where I'm from, that just ain't cool.
So does it really? That definitely revokes your man card. Right?
I think it does more than that, doesn't it? Like, you're suspended for, 2 weeks without pay at that point.
The only thing I figure, if you're a dude singing Disney songs at karaoke, you're either, like, blackout drunk or you're just, craving attention.
Maybe both?
Or the combination of
I mean,
both.
the dude was pretty drunk. He just bounced on us, and later we found out he called an Uber and took off. It was like, oh, all right.
Because if you're like a single guy
Yeah.
and you're trying to make a spectacle.
Okay, A, if you're a single guy and you're looking for women, B, don't roll up in karaoke night and sing, Disney songs.
Don't try too hard.
That's not even trying, man. You're trying in the opposite way. Like, I'm thinking you're batting for the same team, and I'm totally fine with that.
That's
I have
cool.
no problem. You do you, homie.
That's right.
I don't have a
Live your
problem
life.
with that, If that makes you happy, you be happy. I'm totally for it. I'm a friend. I have no problem with that, but he needs to realize that he's gay. Actually, when the dude took off, I was like, man, you guys are bad friends for not telling him he's gay.
Anything else transpire last night? I mean, sounds like there was a lot going on.
Yeah, we had that. I talked to a couple gals called the Lesbians.
Okay.
Yeah. I talked to my buddy Goody. We're gonna have Goody on the show too coming up, so we can tease him.
He was in rare form last night.
Man.
Or maybe he was just being himself.
Goody was drinking claws because Goody's in shape now, man.
He is. He's
and yes, I'm referring to this
brick
dude
wall.
as Goody because he, in fact, will refer to himself as Goody. And
we
that's
talked about having him on, and he's like, "I need a fake name."
Right.
I was like, "You don't need
And
a fake name."
and here we are dropping his name.
Oh well, it's too late now. Too late now, Goody. Our bad. You can use your real name. We're not on here, you know.
I'm using my real name. My real name is Scott Merriman.
Yeah, I'm
Hi.
not Francis. Right.
Yeah. Hi. How you doing?
The thing is, we're not saying anything that's going to like destroy our
No,
identity.
man. We're just here to have fun. We're not trying to say anything or hurt anybody's reputation or any of that.
But Goody was in rare form last night.
Man.
He was on.
That dude was switched.
And it's like he wasn't trying to like impress anyone. It's just who he is. He's this giant personality. Great guy. I've known him since, he was like one of the first friends I've had outside of where I work at.
Yeah, me too here. He was one of my first friends too.
You know, he welcomed me into a group, and he's one of the best guys that I know around here. So.
Right, yeah, I totally agree.
He's a good guy to have in your corner, too.
Man, he was, yeah, you're
His
right.
muscles are like fake.
I know. Okay, so imagine an older guy, right? He had like these Drew Carey glasses. You could tell that there was a build on him, but he was like the chunky guy. He always, I hate to say this, but he always reminded me of the Tweety Bird,
Right.
from the Looney Tunes.
He has really big
when he gets all
shoulders.
jacked
Right.
up, right? That's what Goody looked like
Yeah,
to me
Goody-
at first.
Goody
Because he
has-
was just, a dumpy, happy guy.
Right, he has a thick neck.
Oh, yeah.
He has broad shoulders.
Yeah, I mean,
He has
he's
more of a neck now.
He's got the frame, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And lately, like what, the past, is it 3 years?
3 years, 4 years, yeah.
3-4 years, the dude's really buckled down, like
Yeah.
diet, exercise. He's been working out. He's totally like defining now.
Yes.
He was talking last night about like hitting a plateau and everything, and the guy's just ripped now.
Yeah, there's a lot of discipline involved.
I catch him totally like all the time. He's just sitting there flexing.
Yeah.
Hey ladies, how you doing? And he's just
I just flexed for fun.
right. I never do that.
No, but he looks great.
Yeah, he does look good.
It was good to see him last night.
Dude's built like a brick shithouse.
And the waitress yesterday,
Oh man.
that was just a fun thing to watch. Him talking to the waitress.
So Goody starts talking to the waitress, right? And he's like, "Hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. I'm Goody." Oh,
What the fuck just happened?
you hit the switch. There's a switch right there. It's all right, man. Don't worry. We're still rolling. I'm plugged in over here.
Shit. Are we still running?
Yeah, we're still rolling.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, man, no worries. I thought you did pull us though. I was like, ah, oh,
Blackout.
We're good. We're
Blackout
good.
in the studio.
We're good.
This is what happens with...
This is the fucking definition of live radio
Yeah.
right here, man.
So, just to describe what happened, I was trying to plug my phone in to charge it, and I pressed the off switch on Scott's power source.
And I've got 2 monitors set up, and one of my monitors is plugged into that power source, and it shut it off. And when it did, it changed the alignment of my monitors, so both my monitors went down, and
Yeah.
it was like, oh!
I just thought we lost the entire recording.
So did I.
I was like, oh my god. Why?
10 minutes deep into a recording, oh my god.
Damn it, Matt. Was talking
You're right.
about last night.
Right,
and
man,
here
we were
comes the blackout.
fucking having a good time, man.
Hey, man,
Damn, I've
yeah.
dropped the F-bomb twice now.
Yeah, well,
I'm still a little hungover from last night, I'm not gonna lie.
we have coffee down here.
Right,
We're
we got
enjoying
some coffee,
Yeah.
some other things. We're just
Right.
having a good time,
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
that's it.
fuck yeah.
So we have
For
off
those
today
keeping it count.
from work.
Oh yeah, yeah. So our work is very progressive.
Yes.
I will say that. We're not gonna drop names. I mean, if you know us, then you know where we work. But work recently just made June 19th, a holiday. How ignorant every white person was of this. Like, nobody remembers history, it seems like.
Yeah, man.
Last night at the bar, like, several
Yeah.
other people were
Yeah.
talking about it, and, like, no one knew what Juneteenth was. And I heard so many people like, well, why is it called Juneteenth? That's like June 13th, right? And I'm like, no, that's not it at all. I did have an honest conversation last night with our friend, and she was saying that she's afraid now that next year, Juneteenth will become so commercialized.
Yeah.
And you know what? I gotta agree with
It's
her.
going to happen.
But, you know, I think it's a holiday that is long overdue that needs to be done. I have feelings on other holidays, too. Like, I think Election Day should be a holiday.
But I feel like this should have been observed a long time ago.
Well, and it seems like a lot of people didn't know what Juneteenth was. Help us out with that, brother.
Yeah, well, it's the oldest known celebration honoring the end of slavery in the United States. On June 19th, 1865, Union General Gordon Granger led thousands of federal troops into Galveston, Texas to announce that the Civil War has ended and the slaves have been freed.
Yep.
And that's on June 19th, 1865. But we also know the struggle for blacks after that.
Oh,
it wasn't.
God. Well,
it wasn't like, okay, you guys are freed, and everything was just like ice cream and cake. After
well, how
that.
could it be?
It was a struggle for.
Well, how could it have been?
Centuries.
You have an entire race of people that you've kept oppressed. You've kept, mentally not right. You've whipped them. You've cut things off of them. I mean, they're uneducated.
Yeah.
And then you just free them and let them go.
A lot of them kind of stayed with plantation owners, and plantation owners actually paid them after that
sharecroppers.
A very small wage.
Sharecroppers.
Yeah.
And half the time that didn't even go
because
through.
That was their home already. But some of them left, but some of them stayed.
How could you stay?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't get that.
I can't answer that.
Yeah, I can't answer that either.
But
that's one of my questions that I have.
Right.
Like, I understand after all that you've been through, you feel like you've worked that land, that's your land.
Right, absolutely.
But how could you stay?
It was probably a small percentage of slave owners, but some had empathy to where they would give some of these slaves a percentage of the land.
Well, if they had empathy, they wouldn't have been slave owners.
Well, that's true.
To put this in terms, I guess, so for like me, I couldn't even imagine. My boy right now is 10 years old, and I couldn't imagine that in another 5 to 10 years, maybe 5 to 6 years, that he wouldn't be viewed as a little boy anymore.
Right, yeah.
I don't have that problem because my kids are white.
Right.
And I hate that I can say that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that case. It shouldn't be that way at all.
No.
But like I saw a Floyd interview the other day, and a lady said that my son is 10 years old, and that's why it connected with me. And she said that he's 10 now, and he's a little boy, but in 5 to whatever years, he's going to be viewed as a threat, and they're going to shoot him if they think he's a threat because of the color of his skin. And that's really what got me thinking, like, my kid won't have that. That's horrible. I don't even begin to know what those problems are. I really don't.
We don't understand because we have that privilege.
Right.
And there is such a thing called white privilege. Let's not get it twisted.
No, I totally agree.
Let's not get it twisted. There is a privilege.
There's a bit.
Those of us who have a privilege, we have a platform. We have to stick up and actually say something that this is wrong. And look, this is wrong. We need to change the system and to make a better life for everyone.
No, I agree. I think it's the American dream's great if you're white.
Generation X has to stand up.
I think every generation says that. My generation will fix this. My generation will fix this. My generation won't fix this, but maybe yours will.
Yeah. Look, we've had what? 250 years so far of trying to fix how people look at each other of different race. And I feel like racism is it's installed at a young age.
It's learned.
It's learned, yes.
Right.
It's definitely learned.
You're not born a racist.
No one is. But it's a shame that it continues generation after generation for a country that's so diverse. We need to really get over this hump, man.
Yeah. But that's
and
how
all
you
the
make
fires
change,
and all the
though.
looting, we are way off still.
And as much as we want to complain about fires and looting, that's what gets people's attention.
It is.
It
is.
I mean, it really is. Think of the 60s. The NRA never banned assault rifles at all or ever supported any type of ban until the Black Panthers stormed the Capitol with assault rifles. That's not white privilege.
Right.
That right there is a perfect example of white privilege.
Yeah.
Because you got all
they have a right to bear arms too, man.
Yeah, I totally agree. I personally don't do the arms. I'm sorry. I think you look like a fucking cowboy. You're out there, you look like a kid from the 60s who grew up watching John Wayne, and that's what you want to do. And then to top it all off, if you got yourself a 6-shooter strapped to your leg and a fucking cowboy hat on, you're outdated. You need to go away.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
I disagree with you on that
That's
one.
my feeling.
Yeah, I disagree with
I
you
feel
on
like
that.
you're outdated.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, though, I'm totally fine with it.
That's people.
Right. But don't strap that. Don't Joe Exotic and strap it to your leg and walk around like, you're something.
But it is their right.
It's your right, but it's stupid. I'm not saying you can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, you look dumb, and that's your right. It's your right to look stupid as you possibly can.
Right.
It's also my right to have an opinion.
Yeah. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a right.
My opinion doesn't matter over your opinion.
Right.
You know, that's how I feel. And that's also another thing that we need to change in this country is our opinions.
Right.
Because now, when I was a kid, if you had a different view and I had a different view, well, you know, fuck that guy. But at the end of the day, we were cool.
But now you're attacked for having your opinion.
Well, now it's if I have an opinion and you have a differing opinion, then we automatically hate each other.
Oh, yeah, that's how it is right now.
I can't stand that guy.
We are so...
Or he's a liberal, or he's a Democrat, or he's black, or he's brown, or he's Chinese, or he's this.
We are so reactionary.
Right. We
as a society.
We don't listen to think. We listen to react.
And I'll tell you why.
That's partly why all this racism is here.
And social media, Twitter, it feeds it all. People retweet. They also share things, and they share things on emotion.
But they would have done that
anyway. And you can never
anyway.
make a decisive decision on emotion. You make the wrong decision.
But see, that's a problem right there with social media because 90% of it is text. How do you convey emotion in text?
Emojis.
Right. How do you get sarcasm through text?
Right.
You know,
you have to parenthesize sarcasm.
Right. You have to emote it correctly, and 90% of us don't do that. We don't punctuate. You know, put punctuation in and format it the way it should be.
But a lot of people,
hell, we don't even know what that.
A lot of people tweet out or retweet stuff, videos that fit their narrative to fuel hate, to fuel emotion. I mean, how do you think information is spread so quickly?
This is a result.
Social media, man.
This is a result of the dumbing down of America.
If you go back to 92 with the Rodney King riots, we didn't have social media then. We just had the news. Wow. And there was a reason why we didn't have massive protests and riots in every city. It's because we didn't have social media.
Could you imagine, though?
Yeah, well, it would have been like this right now back then. We would have had riots. We would have had protests everywhere. But it was so contained because we only had network news. That's all we
CNN,
had.
basically.
That's all we had. Well, we had CBS,
Fox, and all the majors,
ABC,
all the big networks.
I didn't have cable until I was a teenager. So,
dude, I didn't have cable till I was in high school.
So, all we saw was whatever the narrative that news network was.
That's the narrative
conveying.
But see, though, that's something that we didn't have back then. We didn't have narratives from networks.
No, it was just news. Yeah, it was just news. Yeah, it was.
And it was integrity, and there was journalistic pride.
You kind of forget about that.
And we don't have that anymore.
Don't have that, dude. And it's hard to believe
and it's hard to dissect which is which.
And it's basically politically driven.
No, I agree.
And it's fucked up because it just divides a giant friggin' line between our country.
Well, you're right. We've got flames right now, and the person in office is just throwing gas on it every time he talks.
Stop being a troll on Twitter.
Right.
Just shut up.
Get off of Twitter.
Get off of Twitter. Stop being a troll. If anyone's the king of the trolls, it's definitely the president.
I'm sorry, but I feel like Twitter's really missing an opportunity to show the world that we're not as bad as he is.
Twitter is...
Because that dude has made us a laughingstock in the world's view.
I like Twitter for certain reasons, but I also hate it for certain reasons as well.
I get a majority of my news from Twitter, to be honest.
Dude.
From back home, from around St. Louis, from here.
Like music stuff.
Yeah, I get that too.
Music news, all that. I get it from Twitter, and it sucks because technology is great. Right. It's very useful. It's an amazing tool for business.
But you have to be careful with it.
But it can also be a weapon, and is definitely being used as a weapon at the current time.
I mean, think about it. Even the smallest little thing in today's climate is politicized.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean, we have to come together as a people, man.
Right.
And have some fucking empathy for each other. You know, just because it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Come on.
Well, look at the mask debate. You know, I mean, everybody's forgot about COVID.
Have a heart, man. Right. Have a fucking heart. What happened? What happened to people, man? What happened? There's so much more hate than there is love. There really is.
I don't think so. I think we only see the hate. Love doesn't cause a ruckus. Love doesn't cause a scene. Hate causes a scene.
Yep.
Hate gets all up in your face, gets personal, right? Yep. That shit gets on TV.
Yeah.
So that's what we see 24 hours a day. I don't see some guy helping his grandma to the library. Or I don't see, you know, good one here. There's some kids on the down, 6 blocks maybe, from here. It may even... Shit, man, it's probably 2 blocks now that I think of it. But some kids down the road from me made up like a food pantry for people who were in need of food.
That's
and the
great.
thing is just stock full of canned goods. You know?
Kudos to their parents.
You don't hear anything about that.
No.
You know, none of that.
All you hear about is Antifa crap.
Oh, Antifa. Oh, let's get into that later.
Oh, don't even get me started.
That shit
These
frightens
fucking
me.
guys. Fuck them.
Let's take a break because we're both looking at our coffee
Hey,
cups.
Antifa, fuck you.
You fascist fucks. That's all I'm saying. Fascism needs to go away. That is not
sorry,
even,
I get so heated with this.
That is
topic.
not even an option. I'm sorry. Fuck you guys. No. We're taking a break. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys hard. And we'll see you later. After this break. And welcome back to the old 77. We're a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
Attaboy. So we were talking about Antifa before. I got a little passionate on the way out.
So did I.
We got a little passionate in that last one.
I'm sorry about losing my temper.
I'm not, because somebody needs to lose their temper in this climate.
Look, and here's the thing, man.
Man, this coffee's good. I'm not going to lie.
Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate it. Here's the thing, man. We have a platform now here at the old 77.
Well, we do now.
And this is, it's our choice to talk about this current event. And we usually
Absolutely.
don't do that because we are a safe place.
Right, well, that's just it. We're a safe place.
But there's some things you just cannot ignore.
Right.
And this is one of them.
Well, I know we tried for a while not to talk about this.
Right.
Because I feel like a majority of people, if you're listening to a podcast, you're not coming for affairs of the day. You're coming to get away from that.
Yes.
And, I think that's what we're trying to provide. But also, it's at a point where we can't ignore it.
We cannot ignore it.
We can't.
It would make us look really ignorant to be like, well, let's just talk about some
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I'm ignorant,
stuff.
But I'd like to not be. And that's why talking about it makes me not.
I feel better talking about it because it's out there. We said our piece.
Right.
We can move on.
We can move on. But if you want to say your piece, feel free to call the old 77 listener line at area code 573-246-0779.
Or you can email us, theold77podcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Also leave a Facebook message.
Yeah, we're also on Facebook, Twitter, the Instagrams.
And thanks for everyone who has joined us on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, man. We've exploded on Facebook.
Exploded. And there's a lot of old friends on there.
There's a lot of new friends, too. A lot of people, I have no idea who they are.
Like my buddy Joe Caputa out there.
Oh, yeah?
He's been my homie since
That's awesome.
Since I was 5 years old, dude.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that guy before.
And
you always say his whole name.
He's my ride or die right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mikey Thompson.
Oh, Big Mike.
Big Mike.
I'd like to get him on the show, talk some comic books,
Oh,
man.
yeah, we could do that.
I'd love to get that guy on the show and talk comic books.
Numerous family members who've joined up.
Yeah, your dad.
My dad.
Dude.
Danny Edwards, Frank Edwards.
I'm calling everybody
Thanks,
out.
boys.
I just want to thank everybody that's listening. I mean, you don't have to, so I appreciate the hell out of it.
Yeah, we do appreciate that. We
Yeah.
appreciate your time.
We appreciate you.
But going back to the Antifa thing,
Yeah, like
this is an organization that's funded by George Soros.
who
And
has who has clear thoughts on how things
these
should be.
people are paid to put fear into people.
But they use fascism.
They do.
And they're clearly a fascist organization. I have a problem with that because
Indeed.
the current climate we're in right now is just fueling that. And fascism, I feel, has got a firm hold on us again. We just went through World War II and World War I because of fascism.
Yes.
My grandfather fought because of because of fascism.
Yep.
Your grandfather probably did, or your father, or you yourself, if you're old enough listening.
Yep.
And if you are, thank you. But you didn't fight for this, You didn't fight for this outcome to happen again. And I hate for the veterans that are still alive that are seeing this rise up again. Because they're like, son of a bitch.
Any World War II veteran will tell you the
Yeah.
heroes were left in Europe, on the beaches.
That
in the jungles.
That entire generation was heroes. Because I don't know if the world today, if America in the state we're in right now, would step up and do what everyone did back in the 40s for World War II.
Yeah.
Like if we had all of a sudden a metal scare, like a metal shortage, and plastics were in short demand, and we had to like ration stuff, I don't think people would do it right now. I really don't. Hell, we won't even wear a mask.
And I saw a meme the other day, and it was like one of those split memes, and it had guys in their early 20s, and it was like just young men storming the beaches of Normandy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then below that, it was like dirtballs and Antifa that are dancing around the streets and just burning shit. And the thing about Antifa is they're the ones who are blending in, and these protesters are out there trying to get their point out peacefully. And Antifa sneaks in, and they start fucking destroying shit.
Wasn't there an instance where they were in, like, on video where there's somebody in Minneapolis? There was a group of people, and they were peacefully protesting. They had their signs, and they're walking. And this dude just walked up and started smashing windows. And he was a white guy.
Yeah.
He just walked up and had a big stick, and he just clang, clang. And the protesters turned on him and was like, no.
Yes.
And they shut him down. But they confirmed that dude was Antifa.
The majority
Antifa, or whatever they call themselves.
Fuck they're called.
I don't feel the need to give them the proper name.
No, who cares?
I'll call them A.
Yeah.
They don't deserve to get they don't deserve to get their whole name out.
But the majority of this organization are like white suburban kids who are just misled, who are angry.
Right. Well, you said it before. It's the kids that are picked on, right? They have no friends. They have no outlet. No one will listen to them. Well, here comes these guys. They'll listen to you.
Yeah.
They'll be your friend.
Yeah.
But maybe you can do this for us too.
Yeah.
Hey, to be our friend, why don't you go out here and break all this shit?
Yeah.
Hey, to be our friend, you're such a great friend. Why don't you go to Minneapolis and start crap in this riot?
I just hate that this group shows up and then they act like they're protesting and it's all for a movement, but really they have their own agenda.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to lie.
And it's just to instigate and inflame destruction.
Right.
And it makes Black Lives Matter look really bad. And Black Lives Matter knows this because I've seen several videos of black people who are peacefully protesting, grab these assholes, hold them down on the ground, and then hand them over to police.
Yeah, that's the best.
And I love seeing that.
Yeah, I do too.
Because now they're policing themselves and getting this trash out of the streets and into the jail cell. Guess who bails them out? Fucking George Soros.
Dude with the money. Well, it all goes back to it, man. Like we were saying in the first segment, you know, it's the American dream works if you're a white dude. Because you can go into a group, a crowd. See, there's another thing of white privilege. You have a white dude rolling into a crowd of just like a sea of black and brown people out there, right? And here's this white guy rolling in there, clearly with ill intentions.
With backpack and stuff.
But yet, they're the ones who are going to get shot at. They're the ones who are going to get yelled at. They're the ones who are going to have the problem. He's going to walk right on out.
They are the problem.
You know? And I'm so glad that I see, you know, videos and photos of protesters holding pieces of shit like that down and then handing them over to the cops.
Whether they were a male or female, they were basically holding these guys down to the ground.
Yeah.
And
that's great to see. I love it.
They have to be held accountable for their actions.
Well,
as a domestic terrorist group, man.
I was going to say, did you see where they just got classified as domestic terrorism?
It's about time.
That is.
Because
I mean, that's guerrilla tactics, blending in.
If you're from, say, if you're from like Iowa, this kid who's an Antifa, but you go to the state.
Well, you got to go to New York
and
to
you
the coast.
Destroy something. You blow up a car, or you invade someone's house, and you beat somebody up. Now that's a federal charge because now you've crossed state lines.
The action itself would have been a federal charge. Not because you crossed state lines.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, because now you are a domestic terrorist.
If he classified with that group, then he would automatically be classified as a domestic terrorist. But if he committed crimes all along the way to it, yes, then he would definitely be because he went state to state to state, causing ruckus.
But now Antifa are in the eye of the FBI.
All that shit aside, I mean, we wouldn't even have them at this point now if it wasn't for the last several years.
Ugh, it's horrible, man.
I mean, I feel sorry for anyone 70 and older. I really do. And I hate the fact that you voted primarily for the current administration. I don't care for that. I mean, did you not learn a lesson? I feel like that needs to be said. I'm sorry.
But I think this group will be around no matter who the president is.
Right. You're 100% right.
They're out for terrorism.
It's
the way you handle these.
I just watched where the current president was trying to get reelected, and he was calling on all these past, like Karl Rove was a big one that they kept going back to. I remember the president tweeting out that Karl Rove was basically a piece of shit. And now he's begging for his help. And the thing I hate is Karl Rove is helping him.
Well, I find it funny that
Really?
the mayor of Seattle let these terrorists basically form a colony in downtown Seattle. It's like a 6 blocks radius.
Right. And they were like heavily armed, right?
Yeah, and then they went to the suburbs and they were outside her house and they were terrorizing the mayor
That's
outside of her
ridiculous.
house. And then she was asking for help.
I'm telling you, man.
Watch
now,
what you're doing there.
Right. Well, now is the prime example of governments. So even the Romans used to say this, like, never waste a good disaster because you can hide so much shit. So right now, the USDA, has been rolled back some. Environmental protections are being rolled back. All this stuff is being put into bills, and we're not noticing it because it's not on the news. Because dudes rioting in Minneapolis, and, Florida's got COVID. It's crazy.
Yeah, but no one's talking about sex trafficking.
Right. No one's talking about any of that stuff. Like, I think there was one busted a couple years ago in Iowa. Like, it's fucking
It's
Iowa.
huge.
I firmly believe there's an underground culture in this country that's very active. That does stuff like that.
Jeffrey Epstein was probably a key witness for all that.
Well, Epstein's a good one, yeah.
He was sent 3 12-year-olds on his birthday from a pal.
From a pal.
That's fucking disgusting. I'm
Thanks,
sorry
pal.
for my language.
Thanks, pal.
It's mind-boggling to think how disgusting this guy was.
You watch Peaky Blinders, right?
Yeah.
There's an episode where they're just making so much money. These guys are gangsters back in okay, so this is a good one. Peaky Blinders is a gangster drama on BBC, and it takes place after World War I and the rise of fascism, and they're trying to fight fascism. And they're a local bookie in Birmingham, England, and they're not the nicest people, but they're kind of Tony Sopranos of the 1900s. And their guy, Tommy, he's this big deal, and he sees fascism and he tries to fight it. But, there's a scene in it where they're making just so much money. He's like, we've never made money like this before. There's a whole subculture of people that we don't know about who has been living with this money forever.
Right.
And that's like that George Soros dude.
Yes.
He's got so much money that he can get away with anything. Same as Epstein. Hell, that could have been the dude sending Epstein his stuff. Like,
Why isn't this guy under investigation?
I know enough about Antifa to have an opinion, but I don't know everything about them. And I wonder if there is going to be something like that. Will they come down on these guys? Will they get that
They're
guy?
gonna have to someday.
Do they have a manifesto that they're rolling off of? If so, who wrote that?
I just think their whole thing is about anarchy, man. They want to see America burn.
Just for the sake of seeing it burn.
That's it.
But you know what? They're not the only ones, because we also have Russian interference. And the fact that the current, administration is tied with Russia boggles my mind.
But so was Hillary and all those other cats.
Hillary had her faults. I
Don't
didn't
get me
like her
started
at
about
all.
Hillary.
I didn't even like her. I don't like her at all. But I feel like there was at least a level of experience, professional, and not the current, everyone, let's get in the clown car and drive around for a while style. We've lost a tick. We've lost a standing. We're limping now in the world stage.
I think we've been limping for the last 10 years. Now it's kind of showing.
The last 4. Probably, yeah.
I don't know.
We're full
I have
on.
my gripes with.
We're full on at a half limb.
I have my gripes with Democratic leadership,
And I have some serious gripes with Republican leadership.
We'll just leave it at that. We're not going to make.
But that's your opinion,
Right. Yeah.
I totally am okay with that.
Right now, leadership is scarce.
There is no leadership,
Right.
and that's part of the problem. I mean, he can't even console someone. How can he run a country when we need consoling?
But is it the president's job really to console?
Yes, it is now. Yes. He's the commander-in-chief and the consoler-in-chief.
I feel like the last 6 months, it's all engineered for the downfall of society.
I don't feel that way. I disagree.
First, you have a celebrity president who everyone's mad at.
Yeah.
Then there's a great divide between the liberals and the conservatives.
Well, the two ruling parties. The fact that we have only 2 is frightening.
And then we have this whole COVID thing, and we force people not to work.
Right.
You could be this Boy Scout.
Oh, I know.
You
Totally.
can cross your T's, all
Go
the
to
stuff.
work every day for 20 years, 30 years.
But yet, you can be out of a job.
the deal, like, everyone's like, oh, this was just nothing, right?
The whole George Floyd thing just kind of like...
George Floyd is a direct result of the pandemic and everyone getting laid off.
It just inflamed everything, dude.
It was the match that, or it was the spark that lit the fire that ignited everything.
Icing on the cake. Now we have Antifa in every giant city.
Well,
people were forming their own colonies.
Okay, so the fact that we're talking about Antifa, that right there was a distraction. That was put out by the current administration to distract us from what was going on. The fact that we're even talking about them. Because they classified them as a terrorist organization, knowing full well that they were out there. I mean, they were out when the president said that those guys were out there, you know, marching and protesting a few years ago. Was it Chattanooga? When people were getting all, like, upset and people were protesting, and Trump said that there was fine people on both sides. Those were Antifa people. Mm-hmm. And now, all of a sudden, we're classifying them as terrorists. Well, that was done as a distraction. That was done to get us talking about them and not about the current climate or how the current administration is dealing with the current climate. It's an election year, man. You have to pay attention.
But also, I am, but also, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happened where you can also go the other way with that, you know?
Absolutely.
You can go, China has ties with the DNC.
Yeah. They also have ties with the Republican Party, too, though.
But it's really hard to be like, oh, well, this is what was going on.
But you have to, but
it goes two ways.
It's the spin, though.
And then George Soros, he's in cahoots with the Democratic Party.
You know, it's all in the spin.
And then Hillary, she's about to go on trial, and no one's talking about that shit.
I don't think she's going to do it.
And a lot of people want to see her be charged with treason.
The same people who want her charged with treason but the current president to walk free, I don't understand.
Dude, that's kind of where we live in, man.
I just don't get it.
It's kind of where we live in.
Because I don't feel like she did anything compared to the current one. I mean, he's flat out asked foreigners for help.
I don't know, man.
In defeating
They're both pretty fucked up.
He's actively brought outside influence into our elections.
Yeah.
He's threatened our constitutional rights. Hillary hasn't done that yet.
Well,
wait, I take that back. She didn't suck her husband's dick and put us all in jeopardy.
Yeah. But she's also
in the 90s.
Let American lives hang out there.
I mean, come on, man. Hillary, come on. If you know your man gets up every morning and needs his medicine, suck that man's dick.
Another thing is, if you're the president of the United States and you're going to cheat on your wife, be like Kennedy and, like, get someone like Marilyn Monroe. Like,
I'm sorry, this is going to sound horrible, but bang the hot chicks?
I mean, you have the clout. You're the most powerful man in the free world.
Unless you look like the current one. Like, you don't want... No,
well, that's true.
You know, I don't care how hot you are, because, ladies, you're hot. And, guys, some of you guys are hot, too. I'm not gay, but I'm just saying. And I have no problem with that. But, yeah, I mean, if you look like an Oompa Loompa, nobody's wanting to have that with you. Oh. You gotta Stormy Daniel it. And I love that chick. Stormy Daniels.
She's disgusting.
Oh, yeah, but she owns it.
She does.
I've known some nasty girls, and they've owned it, and they've all been cool.
You so nasty.
Oh, girl, you nasty. And they've always got those spiky nails. And this is just me, but I wonder, how do you wipe your butt with those spiky nails? You're not.
That would hurt.
Think about that one as we come back after this.
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Old 77. We're a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
This coffee is damn good.
It is very good. Thank you.
I'm not going to lie. And so this has just been a cool, chilly episode over a couple pots of coffee, man.
Yeah, talking about...
We got deep in a couple of these.
Yeah, with the Antifa and all that.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, it's nice to know that we can have differences of opinion and still get along. Like...
This is what normal people do.
This is what it should be again. Like, sit the fuck down and drink some coffee and talk it out. Speaking of sitting down,
grown-ups,
like adults, because we are. I mean, come on, man, we're adults. We can do this. We don't have to fight. And like adults, we all sat down last night at Big Whiskey's in Jefferson City.
It was a great time.
I'll get it out. Sorry, Big Whiskey's.
Yeah,
it was
great
a good
ambiance,
time, man.
Good time.
Right.
So we have a little scoring system that we want to.
Right. And if you've not been into Big Whiskey, like it's an old factory downtown that it's just been abandoned for a while. They converted it. It looks super sharp.
There's other businesses within that building, but
yeah, there's another couple, I think, right? Well, our boy
I'm not-
Kyle Cross, he works upstairs at Big Whiskey.
He does, yeah.
He's a video editor.
But there's a few other businesses that are part of that building.
Yeah.
But Big Whiskey is
initially yours. I
they
think
are a
is
very
there,
big, very big renter of the building for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Oh, and it was just right on last night when we walked in. Got a table right away. You know, we got nice apps. The apps were great. It was still happy hour.
It was, yeah.
So they extended happy hour like 15 minutes for us. That was awesome.
It was like half off beer and nuts, right?
I had a lot of beer. We had these cheese pretzel like app thingies. I don't know what exactly they were. They were like pretzel sticks.
Like pretzel sticks,
with beer cheese. And it was right on, man.
Oh, it was very good.
Yeah, that was
Very
good.
Yeah, as soon as I got there, you're like, hey, we ordered some apps.
We already got you guys. We're good.
But the one regret that I have was getting that mixed
yeah.
drink. And it was like...
Well, what did you order?
The glass was so small.
It was little.
Yeah.
Yeah. He ordered a mixed drink, and we ordered all these beers. And because it was happy hour, the beers were like the big beers, right? Mm-hmm. Man, I had 2 Leinenkugels.
I switched
the
over
summer
to
shandy.
I switched over to the big beers after that.
Yeah. Well, that was disappointing. We did. So after all of that, we went through and we rated Big Whiskeys, like we're gonna do for a few other local restaurants that you can only get here in Jeff City. Mm-hmm. And we rated them on 4 different categories. There was service, which was right on for us last night.
Yeah. Presentation,
big one. How was the food? Did it present itself well to you? Did you want to eat it?
Big Whiskey is not the place where you're going to get like a fine dining presentation.
I mean, it was.
So I'm not
nice.
really looking at presentation to be like. I mean, it was a clean plate. There wasn't like anything
but at the
spilt
same
on
time,
it.
there wasn't anything like flopped out everywhere.
No hairs involved in the food.
That's a big one for me, man.
But like taste was very good. I had the Nashville chicken sandwich.
I had the 10-ounce, I think it was the hand-cut steak. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Phenomenal. It was good steak. I've had better in town, but it was a good steak.
It looked good.
Yeah,
I think Goody had the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
Goody's on a diet, so he's eating proteins and veggies, and that thing was huge.
Yeah.
We ordered the same cut, and his was twice the size of mine.
It was 10 inches long, right? That's what he kept saying.
So I ordered mine that way. That's why he was giving me grief. I was like, yeah, let me get that 10-inch one.
Yeah.
Goody's like, oh, you want some 10 inches, huh? Let Goody finish this drink.
Our waitress had to put up with Goody last night, so
and he was on too.
She had extra.
Hey, what's
points
your
awarded
name?
to her.
So she gave him her name, and so he's like, hey, I think it was Amy or something. Hey, Amy, yeah, Amy, yeah. And so, like, being the real ass I am, I sowed that seed of doubt. No, her name's not Amy. What if it's like Veronica or something? And then she gave us another name, like Veronica. And so as our food came, we called her that other name, like, ha, and it turned out she gave us the other waitress's name.
Wasn't that Jackie or something?
Jackie, that's it. She's like, hey, thanks, Jackie. And the other guy was like, you're welcome?
Yeah.
How do you know my name?
But she was good. She put up with us, and she did a great job.
Yeah, she did. And then we also rated them on vibe. So service, presentation, taste, and vibe. There's your 4 categories, and we could award each up to 5 points per category. Now, for a grand total, Big Whiskey came in at
62.
62 out of a possible 80. Not bad.
And that's between 4 guys.
And that's between 4. That's with 4 dudes.
4 different scoring cards.
If you would like to, I don't know, call us and let us know your experience at Big Whiskey, or if you would like to rate them yourself, 573-246-0779. That's 573-246-0779. Email us, theold77podcast@gmail.com. Or even go on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah, and then we went to Patty's last night.
That was that's a good time. I like Patty's.
Had a couple beers. It was really nice outside.
I was drinking some Harps on tap.
The deck beers were going.
Oh, those deck beers were flowing. I'm telling you. I was only going to have 1. I had 5.
So I just got a text from my wife.
Yeah?
And she's like, I have suggested topics for
Oh.
the podcast.
That's perfect.
Should I say what
Yeah,
it is?
man, go for it. What's your topic?
She said you should do a show or segment on sinkholes.
In Missouri, yeah.
Yes, because people's houses just kind of disappear.
Well, a few years
Into the
ago,
ground.
where was that place? It was Bowling Green, Kentucky, because it was the Corvette Museum, and they had a sinkhole open up underneath it.
Holy crap.
And like a couple Corvettes fell down into it. I mean, they've kept them in the fallen into the sinkhole, condition. But yeah, I mean, they can happen anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about...
Especially around here.
My brother-in-law, who lives in who lives down in Camdenton.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law Josh. His house is built upon a sinkhole.
Really?
And Sarah's like freaked out about it. Like if anything bothers my wife,
Like he built this on purpose on top
no,
of
they
a
didn't know
sinkhole?
about it.
Oh.
The house is not going to sink
Right.
like tomorrow or anything.
Yeah,
you know?
but still, it's
Hopefully
going to
they're
happen.
out of there by then.
Oh, man.
Especially down there at the lake.
But are you going to be able to get your money back when you sell that? Because you have to disclose that, right?
I'm not an expert on
Man, on sinkholes,
the probability
and
of
real estate.
your house disappearing within a sinkhole.
So back where I'm from, there was a school in a small town. They were big into mining, like in the 40s and 50s. And like the boom after the World War II came to a crashing halt. These towns they're so small now that they didn't recover. But there's still all that mining underneath. And it was a little town called Gillespie, Illinois. And Gillespie, they had all these mine subsidence, and they built a brand new high school, and within like a year, 2 years, they had to condemn it because it subsided.
Wow.
Dude, they're talking like cracks, like 2-3 inches wide in this brand new high school.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
And it's all because of just that subsidence.
It's funny because we live up on a hill.
Yeah, I do too.
And our deck's kind of like, it's not wobbly, but like you can tell that like a lot of stuff is washed away.
Right.
And Sarah's like nightmare is that one morning we're just going to wake up and half our house is going to be like sliding down a hill. It's not going anywhere, trust me.
No, but still, that's a nightmare, man. That's a good topic, yeah.
There was a sinkhole around the corner from us a couple of years ago. The road just kind of gave way.
Yeah, I
and
forgot about
sank.
yeah.
I mean, could you imagine just like driving along the road and then all of a sudden the road just gives out?
Yeah. Well,
And you're part of that sinkhole?
limestone and shale, and that's primarily what the ground here is made of, because we're along a river.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's all going to happen. You're going to have sinkholes open.
Especially if you're near a
That
lake.
shale or the limestone just crumbles. And,
Like if you're down by the lake at the Ozarks.
oh yeah, now you got a void.
Now you have a void.
Yeah.
Like there's like caverns down there.
You ever been to any of those caverns? I've been
the
to
Crystal Cave where people get married?
Why not, man?
But I've been to
I'd like to
Ha Ha
have sex.
Tonka.
I'd like to have sex in a cave.
I've been to Ha Ha Tonka.
I've been there
and
too,
Like,
that's
if you
neat.
read the history about Ha Ha Tonka,
That place is cool.
there's like tons of caverns down there.
Right.
And there's like 243 steps to get down to that kind of cove. Mm-hmm. That's like, it could be like midsummer, like sweltering heat.
Oh, yeah, and
but
it's
the
like-
water stays at like 50 degrees.
Yeah. That was their air conditioning back then.
Right.
Because that was a very wealthy dude that built that house.
But everything is sinkholes down there.
Yeah.
Everything. All bluffs. And then it just sank into
Yeah.
this cavern.
Well, didn't they blocked all that off too, Lake of the Ozarks. I mean, there's some springs down there in the river, but that's what caused it. They
Yeah,
blocked
I
up
think
the
you're right.
Osage River. They dammed it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
I've
you're
heard tales that there's entire cities, like little villages, like where I'm from, like a town of 230 people, so that's maybe what, 40 some houses, if,
Yeah.
20 houses, like underneath,
Wow.
still fully, I don't know if that's true or not, but underneath the Lake of the Ozarks.
Well, the last story I've seen with that involves a sinkhole
Yeah.
was a guy in Florida, and their house just sank, and he died. Like one night, you just go to sleep, and then the next morning,
You don't wake up.
your house
Yeah.
went into this hole.
You got
and
a
you went with
boulder in
it.
your ass. Oof.
Sank like the Titanic and Captain Nemo.
Captain Nemo. Damn you, Nemo.
going down with the ship.
Yes, you are.
But in Florida, there's been like multiple stories about sinkholes because
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
think about Florida, it's all
Yeah.
swamp.
Yeah.
You know,
It's all topography.
building a whole cluster of houses over swampland, which is a brilliant idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, look at Venice.
Don't worry, we put concrete down.
Right. It won't sink for a while.
Damn
Well, that's
Floridians.
great. Dude, you're fucking crazy in Florida. I'm sorry.
They're all nuts in
I
Florida.
am not a fan of Florida, and yet I'm getting ready to go to Florida. But I am not a fan of Florida at all. Portal to hell, dude. People are crazy down there, and I don't know if it's
all
just
kinds
the
of crazy
humidity.
shit happens down there.
I feel like it's the humidity. Like it gets to you after a while, and in Florida you're just surrounded by water, so you're just nuts.
I think it's like it's a mix of different regions that migrate down
but
there.
it just seems like a lot of crazy happens in Florida. And on my honeymoon, when we went to Jamaica for our honeymoon, like they're the same way. I actually was talking with a guy, and he told me like flat out, he's like, "Yeah, the heat makes us crazy." It's like, it's so hot here, and it was like Jamaica at 8 o'clock in the morning. Imagine the worst, most humid, sweltering, like August day at noon. That was 8 o'clock in the morning at Jamaica, and it only got hotter.
Oh, gross.
it got so hot. Like, I don't know how they were used to it. Well, no one can get used to that.
When I lived in Destin, Fort Walton Beach, the weather got so humid down you can just cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
And
that's how it was in Jamaica.
And the bugs down there are even bigger.
Oh, God.
Like, I remember being at this, like, outdoor bar, and you'd have, like, these flying cockroach-looking things. I'm telling you.
Kill that motherfucker with fire.
You're kind of, like, ducking and weaving, man.
You know, I don't like to live anywhere where I have to duck and weave in the air just to walk. What's wrong with that guy? He got a twitch? No, man, he's moving around from those bugs.
One night from being out, I remember coming home and turning the lights on in the kitchen and looking up, and there was one in my house. Dude, it was like maybe an inch long, and it had these wings, and it looked like a cockroach. So I got the my kitchen towel, and I kind of like folded it up into like a whip. And I nailed it, dude, and it like went down to the ground. So it was upside down, and it was like flapping its wings.
That's awesome.
And my old cat Jimmy like went up to it and just like stabbed it.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that cat.
Tearing it up.
Damn.
And he ate like half of it. So I was like, good job, boy.
Good job.
I can't imagine just crushing it with a phone book.
Right? Like,
you know?
I kind of like to live places where I don't have that crap invading my home.
But it's amazing how they build these houses on top of like an area that used to be a swampland.
Well, that's just it. I mean,
and hence the sinkholes.
Right. Look where we're at. You know, look where we're at with technology. You know, it's just going to keep advancing us.
But eventually, you know, over time, it's gonna sink, right?
Do you think Earth will eventually be like Coruscant on Star Wars, where we're just one giant like planet city? Because it seems like eventually, I mean, we're going to run out of land,
one
right?
Supercontinent.
Right. We get 1 million
like Pangea.
Well, no, not necessarily Pangea, but yeah, eventually we'll get there. We'll conquer the oceans and stuff.
Like Kevin Costner in Waterworld.
No, man, I'm not talking about growing gills and going underwater. But that movie's underrated.
Like one society, eventually.
No, I'm saying, yeah, like. So imagine like a big town, like, you know, like Philly, and you've got a couple of small little itty bitty communities around that when you were a kid, they were still an independent, but now they're just Philly. When you were a kid, there was neighborhoods that are no longer there anymore because now they've been incorporated into other neighborhoods. And it'd be similar to like that.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So, like, if Jefferson City got so big and we kept building on the west side and we built all the way out to California,
and it, like, just
then California would become Jefferson City.
Correct. Yeah.
Like that.
It's a lot of development because
that'd
it's very rural here.
Yeah, that'd be a heck of a lot of development. But eventually...
It might happen.
You know, it could happen. I mean, what happens if we have, you know, mega cities where we've got, you know, blocks in the cities of million-plus people?
Yeah. I mean, what's our population in Jeff City right now?
I don't know.
46,000?
40,000 something. Which shocks me for the state's capital.
I know it's in the 40s.
Right. It's a big town. That's all it is.
To you.
To me, it's a big town.
Being a guy from
Philly.
6 million people.
This is a village?
I wouldn't say a village. Definitely like a suburb.
Because I could show you a village.
Like a suburb. Jeff City is more of a suburb to me.
Yeah.
Ben Salem, Feasterville, like suburbs of Philadelphia, they probably have like 30,000 people.
Okay, so
in that suburb.
As a guy from a big city, how do you feel about when people call I'm using air quotes here, the ghettos of Jeff City?
The ghettos of Jeff City.
They'd be like, don't go to that part of town. That's the ghetto.
When I first moved here, they're like, don't go there.
Right.
And I drive through it, I'm like, this is not like North Philadelphia at all. And North Philly was on the news. It was like nationwide news.
Right. Riots and stuff.
This is the Badlands.
Yeah.
You know, cops are in it with the criminals. Drugs are fluid in North Philadelphia. Gangs control the law.
Shooting up.
Yeah. The east side of Jeff City. I love when people talk about crime here in Jeff City.
Yeah, I do too.
Like, the crime rate's going up. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
2 dudes got into a dispute over some drugs up at the Walgreens. That's the one. It was just a couple weeks ago.
They were teenagers.
They were teenagers. Unfortunately, one of them shot the other one, and he died.
Do you know how much it was?
But it was like, what, $20 or something?
$40.
He just didn't want to pay for it, and he took off.
The one kid died for $40.
$40. Right. That's ridiculous, in my opinion.
Damn shame.
And that is a damn shame, and that's horrible. You know, that happened. But man, before that, I can't even begin to think of the time before. It's usually crime in Jeff City seems to be around certain times.
Yeah.
And then it also seems to be, you know, racially divided.
And I love, like...
Or ethnically divided.
When that happened, there was, like, protests downtown.
Well, if I remember right, wasn't the kid black that died? And the kid white that shot him? Correct.
But and the other 3 kids that were involved...
Oh, there was that's right. There was I forgot about that. Yeah, because the kid shot him. Yeah. He rolled over in the car or whatever. There was other kids in the car with him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the dude who shot him took off.
I think so.
Yeah. And they chased him for a while. Yeah. And that ended poorly for him.
Well, that happened the same night the protests were going on downtown Jeff City. So there were people on social media going, they were like, oh, this is involved. See what happens when you have these protests? I'm like, this has nothing to do with the protests downtown.
Yeah, people were trying to make it protesting.
You stop with your racism, man? Like, I mean, categorizing people?
I hate the fact that
crime happens without, like, having protests.
I hate the fact that a white kid killed a black kid, but they're going to do that. Be better than that.
Correct.
Have some empathy, like Matt said. Yep. If you're having a shitty day, guaranteed somebody else is having a shitty day. And the thing I want to leave you with is no matter how you feel right now, somebody in history, somewhere along the line, has felt just like this. You're not alone.
Learn to empathize instead of hating someone.
Yeah, man.
Because that's the problem we have today. And somehow we went from sinkholes to...
I know, and now we're back to empathizing.
Jefferson City crime to...
Woo!
Wow, that was a whirlwind.
Man, we are cooling down.
I hope you guys are keeping up. This is our cool out zone, too.
Yeah. So we're doing 3 segments, and this one's just, anything. Let it fly.
Yeah.
Cool it down.
Yeah, we're just
mellowing
out here.
I think this is pretty mellow.
We were pretty fired up 2 segments ago.
Yeah, 2 segments ago, I was,
but
ready to say something I probably shouldn't.
It's stuff that we have to talk about. And, we are a safe place, an unsafe world. But, there's some topics you really have to, like, face.
Yeah.
And it's something that we couldn't ignore. And I'm sure a lot of you out there agree with us.
Yeah, I think so, too. I really do. I think this show was due.
So
absolutely.
I know we're new. And if you don't like what we have to say, then don't listen to us.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm okay with that. It's America.
But I think most
I'm
of you...
not going to twist your titty, so you listen to me.
But I think most of you kind of agree with us, so yeah.
And that comes at a charge, premium.
Oh, yeah.
So if you'd like to call the old 77 listener line, give us a call at 573-246-0779. Find us online on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on YouTube. Mm-hmm. You can email us
at the old 77 podcast at gmail.com.
We're everywhere, baby.
If there's something that you have interest in,
and I've got a really good idea for you,
or
Matt.
Post it on Facebook. Yeah.
So let's start one right now. Sure. So if you have something that you would like to ask us, hey, why do you call yourselves the old 77? Why are you a safe place? What does that even mean? Hey, anything like that. Ask us on our Facebook page. If we get enough people, we'll do an Ask Us Anything segment. Mm-hmm. We get enough people beyond that, we can do one live.
Right.
But it just all depends on our feedback. So if you want to become a part of the show or give us some feedback, right now go to our Facebook page. Let us know.
Absolutely.
That'd be cool.
And if you want to come on and talk about your business, you're more than welcome to.
Yes. If you're in Jeff City, if you would like to come on, talk about your local goods and services, all about it, man.
We got a killer lineup, though, coming up for shows.
We do have some good stuff coming up. We'll be talking with our boy Derek.
Yes.
With some comic books. We'll get Big Mike involved on that one. We'll have a comic book 4-way going on.
Also, we will talk to the news director of a 63 affiliate news station.
Yeah, this one's going to be fun.
Brian Houseworth.
Brian Houseworth will be on the show.
Legend around here.
Love that guy, man. He is the nicest dude on the friggin' planet.
Nicest fella in the world.
And he is so professional.
It doesn't get more professional than him.
If I had a tenth of the professionality that man has, I'd be a lot more professional.
Yeah. If he ran for office, I would definitely vote for him.
I have voted for him.
Yeah, just putting his name in there.
I wrote Brian Houseworth in for president of the United States.
Hey, I'd vote for him.
I did.
Yeah, he's a very
he's a great dude.
Great dude, charismatic.
And
everything he says.
He is a wealth of knowledge too,
and everything
he
that
does
says
everything.
and everything he says is sincere.
Yeah. House is really knowledgeable with sports. He currently does scoreboards. He also does news.
Yes.
And we're going to try and touch on both sides of what House does. I'd like to talk to some of his colleagues as well. So if you're a colleague of Brian Houseworth and you'd like to talk about him, reach out to us. Build77podcast@gmail.com.
As we prep for that show.
Yeah, that show's coming up down the way. Yeah, definitely.
I can see it on the horizon.
It's going to be a good one, I hope. So for Matt, I'm Scott. This has been the Old 77.
Adios.
Peace out. Be good to one another.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Okay, I'm good. That was the Old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world.